Welcome back, everyone. I'm the MoeChicken. I was about to say I'm the Earthworm Jim Chicken. I'm the MoeChicken. This is Earthworm Jim, and we are in the third stage of Earthworm Jim 1, Down the Tubes, which is... We fell down a big tube. That's what this was. We wound up here. We were in some sort of underwater place, and we're shooting those things, which I never knew what they were supposed to be. An organ? Stomach? Something? I don't know. But we are here to do something. And there's a cat. That is a big old beefy cat. And if you let it touch you, it'll beat the crap out of you. That does 20% of my health and damage in one shot. So, yeah, you just avoid these guys. If you try and shoot them, they just block. So it's not worth it. Anyway, this is Down the Tubes. And this is also the first stage which, as a child, I had difficulty getting past. I think I started to say it in the last episode. I primarily played this game on originally on the Sega Genesis. And because my friend who lived down the street, who I played a lot of games with when I was a kid, had a Sega, and he had this game. And so I'm very familiar with the Sega version, which is how I know the differences. I didn't get the Super Nintendo version until much later in my life. Going up here, secret passage. And so there's a lot of stuff in the Sega version, which is more familiar to me. Anyway, the point is, when I was a kid, that's a giant hamster. We're not going to deal with that yet. Because I think he has secrets. I think there are secrets I can get. Yes, I want that. So I'm very low in health. Thank you. Oh, it actually doesn't fill up your health all the way. It's interesting. We're going to ride this thing. Here we go. Chomp, chomp, chomp. And chomp. And chomp. And chomp. Very good. Now, if I had let myself touch any of those, they would have pulled me off of the hamster, beat me up pretty badly, and it wasn't worth it. So anyway, yes, when I was a kid, this part. Okay, so I'll hold on to that for a second. So I'm controlling the little, like, the way at which it shoots water and the direction. Like, you hold right, it rotates clockwise, hold left, it rotates counterclockwise, and you push B and it moves forward. And I've got a certain amount of oxygen. It is a timed sequence. If I bump into things, that glass bubble starts to break. That's going to be a lot of fun very shortly, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, my friend and I used to play this on the Sega Genesis, and we could get to this level, and because of those water parts that we just saw, we couldn't ever get past this place. Now, that one we just did was the easy one. There are two more up ahead, but they're going to be lots of fun. Lots and lots and lots of fun. It's just tough. It just takes a lot of precision, and when you're a kid, when you're excitable, it's hard to be precise at things. So it was a challenge. Okay, here we go. So, as I've got 30 points worth of oxygen. Now, there are places you can restore your oxygen down here. There's one. So, you get this, and you hook up to it, and it gives you oxygen. So, your goal is basically just to try and get to the end without breaking yourself. You can see I'm already starting to crack. And without drowning, because if your pod runs out of oxygen, you will implode due to the water pressure. I didn't really understand why we imploded as a child. I just assumed it was a time limit and the thing exploded. But now I know, thanks to science. Thank you, science. Anyway, yeah, so we just had a lot of trouble doing this because it takes some real precision. It takes patience. Like, if you just kind of hammer on the move forward button, you'll just run into all the walls and die. But so you have to kind of like tap it. And it also helps to know in advance where you're supposed to be going. If you don't know where you're going, it's very easy to get lost, which will inevitably cause you to die. I got through okay, so that's the medium one. This guy will beat me up pretty badly. And then I'll use this. Secret. Yes. So that will be it for the first part of the stage. We'll walk over to this, we'll pull out the pocket rocket, we'll fly away. I don't know how this works considering we are in a pressurized underwater environment. I guess there's a very big groovy tube that we fly down. And now we're going to the second part. Wait for it. Why do these take so long to load? Tuberous. So in the Sega version, this was actually called like Down the Tubes 2, I believe. In the Super Nintendo one, they called it Tuberous, which makes a little bit more sense, even though in general it seems strange that they separated it into two. I'm assuming it has some sort of technical ow, 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 ow. Well, I've now started the level with 15% health. That's awesome. That's the best. I seem to recall that those things are supposed to be like kittens or something. Oh, I've got health back. Okay, good. I don't know what they're supposed to be. You can't fight them. Oh, yeah. If you try and shoot them, they just like look at you. Yeah, so you do have to beat them up with the giant hamster. So we're gonna take care of that. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, in the Sega version, it was called Down the Tubes Part 2, and this one is called Tuberous, which makes a little more sense. The only I have to assume that the reason they are separated is for memory limitations or something like that. Oh, that's what happens if you don't time the biting right. Let's try it again. I did it again. Going too late. Alright, so we're just gonna chomp, 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 chomp. Now, this does not guarantee... It's not guaranteed to work, it just usually works. It's very easy to accidentally, just time it wrong and mess it up. Alright, so the shtick of this area, this is a very long underwater race. It's very long, it's very easy to mess up. I'll do my best. Here we go. Oh, because you have to, like, you get a lot of time from this. This fills you up to, I think, to either 70 or 90. So it's a good amount of time. But oh no, never mind. 99. Okay, so I actually think it was less time in the Sega version than the Super Nintendo version. But you have to kind of book it. Like, even though it feels like it's a lot of time, it really isn't. And so you really do have to kind of go through this as quick as you can. Now, back there on the left, you may have seen some power-ups. There are a couple of little power-up caches on the way that you can get them if you want to, but I don't think it's worth it. I think it's better to just kind of hedge your bets a little bit and just have as much water, have as much oxygen as you can to get through this, because you may have seen earlier where I was bouncing around. Like, if you mess up, if you go too fast and mess up, and you'll just bounce yourself on the rocks and break your globe, and then you lose. And then you lose. Now, there is a little trick up here, though. There's a place where you can get some secret oxygen. So I've always, because I knew about the secret oxygen as a kid, I've never actually done this without using it. So I don't know what that's like. I'm not going to try this time, so don't get your hopes up. But you can see here on the left, there's those little lights. This is a secret way. So you go through here, a little bit of extra oxygen. Yes, I think maybe 60. Oh, no. Does it fill you all the way back up? Oh, okay, no, 80. I didn't think it filled you all the way back up, but anyway, yeah, my friend and I think we only ever made it past this, like, once when we were children, and it wasn't until much later that we went back and played the game again and got beyond this point. But I do remember there was one glorious day where we succeeded at it, and what was particularly funny, so when I was a kid, I would go and visit this friend after school. I beat it! Yay! I beat it! Yay! I would visit this friend after school, and I was always allowed to stay until 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, I had to go home to eat dinner. And I remember one time at like 5:45, we beat this. We beat the stage, and I was like, I want to know what happens next, but I have to go home for dinner or I'll get in trouble. So he had to tell me what happened next the next day. Ugh, it was silly. Alright, so in here we find Bob T. Goldfish. The T stands for the. You walk up to him, you knock over his bowl, and you have won the boss fight. Here we go! Bye! Yeah, he's the ruler of that place. He's a goldfish. He's dead now. Well, actually, he's not dead. He comes back, so he's not dead. But he is out of his fish tank. And now we are Andy-Asteroids. So that's the third stage down. We're actually getting through this pretty quickly, which is nice. But we're also now moving into the part of the game that I'm more familiar with as an older chicken than as a younger chicken, because I could not beat that stage as a child. It's very difficult for me. Get out of the stage! Get off! All right, and it's also going to be a lot harder to get continues at this point, so I'm going to do my best. I will actually I will ignore Psychro if it means getting continues. Like, I will fight him if I need to, because the continues will be necessary later on. There's a level coming up very soon, which is just awful. It's just the worst. It is, in my opinion, the worst level in the game, but we're not there quite yet. Come on. One more, and then I will be done. Come on. Okay, there we go. So I got my continue. That's all good. Yeah, that level... Well, you'll see it. It's coming up. It'll be in just a little bit. But for now, it's rodeo time again! Woohoo! Rodeo in space! And for our troubles, we get... Wait for it. Another continue. I always liked that the continues were cans of worms. I think it's a clever way of... clever idea. Next level will be... Well, it'll be groovy. It'll be groovy. In the next episode, we will be tackling... Wait for it. It's not a problem. Round 1. Don't worry. It's not a problem. So, I hope you'll come back and join me then. I am the MoeChicken. This is Earthworm Jim. Thanks for stopping by.